aboard!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Woodsman Wack-Off, the series that puts two woodsmen face to face to see which competitor can whack off their log the fastest. In today's episode, we have the always popular Stihl MS500i. At 79 cc's, this fuel-injected powerhouse has become known to get Stihl fans all hot and bothered in their crotches. Yeah, they love this saw, and to be fair, it's for good reasons. This is an excellent power saw that has lost against everything that it has come up against in these here whack-off challenges. Maybe we can put it up against the WeMars, give it a fighting chance, you know? Anywho, the competitor is the Husqvarna 375 XP. This particular 375 has seen work in the logging industry in the Pacific Northwest. It has been ported, but we have no idea who ported it. While this saw is a great workhorse, it probably doesn't stand a chance against the godlike status of the 500i. So let's watch this Husqvarna embarrass itself. On the 500i, Soft Hand Steve. Soft Hand Steve enjoys a good powdered donut while listening to Air Supply to really get the adrenaline pumping before a good whack-off. And on the Husqvarna, we have the pleasure of watching Benford, the bad boy himself. This is one salty individual right here. He spits bean oil and his piss has a 105 octane rating, so he can make his own fuel blends. Now let's get it on. All right, there's Soft Hand Steve. He showed up early, like always. He waved to his mama. And here's Benford, running his fingers through his hair. Boom. Now this saw right here, the Husqvarna, it belongs to Barry, and I believe he calls it Black Betty, for obvious reasons. Here we go. Both of them going through the gentle slide down the shaft, and it looks like, whoa, my God, the Husqvarna really beat it bad. Okay, so here it'd be a different story on the tug-up. The 500i's torque is really going to come alive. But, well, once again, I mean, it's just shocking. I don't understand it. The 500i is the fastest thing going. The 500i is $1,500. Barry, what do you got in this 375 XP? Maybe 8? And it was ported? Well, both saws are really having a hard time there with that, with the tug-up. No, not the tug-up. Here we go. Giving them another chance. Both saws really digging in their dogs and getting pulled hard by their operators. And again, the 375 takes the win. Old Soft Hand Steve is excited. Imagine what he would feel if he had to run the Husqvarna. Now let's see what Bodie has to say about this. Okay, so yeah, I get a little carried away. Yes, I prefer my Husqvarnas. I really don't have anything against the Stihl. It's just fun to do it because I know that, like, the real fans of Stihl, the people who are like, oh, Stihl's the best. Not just, I mean, you can think that Stihl's the best and not be a douchebag. Okay, that you can totally think that. It's a valid opinion to have. Really, they make excellent saws. But you know, there's a lot of people out there that are douchebags about it. And it's just like, no, it's not the margin between who's good and who's the best and who's second place is a lot smaller than you think. But like somebody, I mean, everybody complains, like, not, you know, whenever you get a Stihl fanboy, they don't listen to this portion of it. They just skip and see who won, and then they make a comment that bashes me as a channel. I mean, the excuses are unparalleled. There's always an excuse for why the Stihl lost. They often think that I am purposefully making it unfair, and they often think that I am not running the same chain. But you look at the production value of this video and you go, doesn't common sense tell you that I went to every length possible to make it fair as I could, you know? I mean, but like my favorite one so far has been whenever I put the Poland 330 against the 311, the Stihl 311. And somebody said something along the lines of, just another idiot promoting his brand. If you call putting a smaller junk Poland up against a professional 311 60cc saw, me promoting my brand, I figured it would lose. You know, I figured my brand would lose, but it didn't. It won. And so it's like, oh, come on, man. You're just making excuses for no reason. But anyways, that's enough of that. The Stihl MS500 is a really good saw, but I have fun with my channel. I enjoy this stuff, and I hope that if you're watching this and you own a Stihl 500i, you can laugh along with me. I mean, because guess what? If you ported that 500i, it would rape that Husqvarna. I mean, you know, I know it would. I know it would. So it's like, yeah. But the 500i gets a lot of attention. And so I try and milk that cow, you know. It just is what it is. I got a weird thing going on my screen. I hope it doesn't show up for you guys, but it might not. Anyways, but more importantly than talking about all this brand and all that stuff, you know, that 375, I can say this now that I know it's been ported. I did not know it had been ported, but Barry confirmed to me that it had indeed been ported. Whenever I ran that saw the day of, I was like, oh man, this thing is as fast or maybe faster than the 7310 Echo that I just got done porting. And I thought it was a stock saw. I thought that the Husqvarna was stock, just with a muffler mod. And so I was a little bit embarrassed. I was like, well, how is this possible? But no, it has been ported. And by the looks of it, it might actually be faster than the Echo 7310. But as things go, you know, I've got to milk this cow, right? I can't just jump right to that one whack off a week. I need to make all this stuff last, and I'm starting to run out of chainsaws. But anyways, I got to do some more testing is what I'm getting at with fresh, new, different chainsaws to put up against everything. But this Husqvarna now, it has beaten, shockingly, okay, the lowest on the totem pole. It started at the bottom, right, of the fast 70cc class saws, all right? I have the Echo 7310, the Stihl 500i, the Dolmar 7900, oh no, it's the Makita 7900, whatever, potato. And now this one, the 375 XP. And shockingly, the 500i is the slowest of all of these saws. And you know, I mean, it is a really good saw. It really is a good saw. But the saws that I have to test it up against, it's the turd of the bunch. That is hilarious to me. But now that the Husqvarna has beaten the Stihl, we will go to the Dolmar, and we haven't had the Dolmar versus the 7310 yet, I don't think. So we got to see who the winner is between those. I think it'll be the 7310. I'm positive it'll be the 7310. I don't know though. I don't know. Even though I did this stuff, it's splitting hairs. All these saws are fast. They are. You know, I know that. But it's fun to watch these videos. Or at least, I hope they are. So anyways, the Husqvarna, I think next week I'll probably put this Husqvarna up against the Makita and see which one wins. But by the looks of it, man, that thing was fast. It beat the Stihl bad. I mean, it beat it. It put the meat to it. We took it down to Pound Town, you know. It really, really beat it. And if you think, oh no, it didn't beat it that bad, consider how fast they are getting through that block of wood. Whenever you're getting through that block of wood in, say, 9 seconds, and you got one saw beats the other one by 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds, that's a lot. Multiply that by with a bigger piece of wood, and you know, like something, you know, big piece of wood, and what you got is this Husqvarna beating it by 10 or 15 seconds. That's a lot, you know. So, yeah, it's a lot. Anyways, okay, I guess this is enough. I finally got parts. I got called yesterday afternoon, and I've been waiting for parts so that I can finish up. You can't see it, but that Timberwolf right there, the 590 Timberwolf that I ported. And if you've hung in here this long, you deserve no secrets. So, this is the Timberwolf 590 that I had ported up, and the oiler had went bad. The reason the oiler went bad, it was completely my fault. I think it was because whenever I reassembled it, I put new crank seals in, both sides, one side and both sides. Whenever I put the oiler in, the armature that the clutch catches on, the clutch drum catches on this armature, and the armature is what turns. It's got the worm gear set up, and it turns the oiler. Well, I didn't know it, but there was a slot like that the armature goes into the worm gear, or the worm gear goes onto the armature, whatever. And I had screwed that up, so whenever I put it back together, that armature is getting turned, but the plastic gear on the oiler just got flattened. So that's why it wasn't oiling. And the oiling could have been the only reason why it wasn't as fast as I thought it should be. So whenever I fix the oiler, I will run it and make sure that the air leak is, I'll address whatever air leak it's got. I don't know where the air leak could be coming from. Got to run it some more and find the air leak, and then we'll do more testing. But as the testing goes, I also have a Echo 620 coil and an Echo 620 carburetor. Depending on how it goes, because see, that saw I'm not so concerned with. I built that as a favor for someone, and so you know, I did a trade for some Bobcat work, and he's going to be smoking happy with it the way that it is, and he knows that I'm not going to buy him an upgraded carburetor and an upgraded coil, right? He gets a good solid running saw, and that's it. And so my point is to you viewers that go, well, you should leave those on that saw. No, those were bought for my own personal Echo 590, the Direwolf. That this Echo right here, might as well grab it, huh? This one is not my own personal one. This one I bought for 50 bucks and repistoned it, and I used it as a test mule to test my porting. All right, so that's why this one's not getting the ultra special treatment. I still did the best I could with porting it, and we're yet to really see what has truly happened because the oiler wasn't working and it seems like it's got an air leak. I'm hoping that the air leak was from the PTO side crank seal because the oiler got so hot that it made a small air leak. And whenever I put the new oiler on, there's no more air leak. That's what I'm hoping. But anyways, once I get this good and running in a solid unit, we will see if porting this thing made any difference. I've talked with Charlie about it, Charlie Briscoe. He's the only guy that I know that has had success with porting these 590s. And, you know, his numbers are the same as mine. Basically, you know, really right there at it. And so there's no real difference number-wise. But there is a difference in my transfers. I made my transfers like this. He makes his transfers like that. Or at least on these 590s. And so whenever I get this thing running right and oiling right and everything, if it's like, oh no, it's bad, it didn't make a difference, and then I'll not do that again. On my own personal one, I will go like this with the transfer ports. And that's the way I usually do it. I really, that's the way I always do it that way. But I had a subscriber say that they had, I can't remember which one of y'all it was. They had dyno results that proved that going straight across the top of the piston is the way that you want to do it. And so I was like, well, I'll give it a try. I'll give anything a try. It doesn't matter. And especially with this one, because this was a test bed. And so I tried it out. And at least the way that I did it, which was the whole transfer. Now, he did say that you know, make that last like 10% what's flat. And I didn't do that, but it's not like I purposefully made it that way. Those upper transfers are hard to work with on those echoes. They are. They're very difficult to work with. So, but anyways, mine are going right like that. The shelf. And that could have been, that was the problem. So, anyways, yeah, I got to go get those parts. There's other parts too. I got a gasket for a 257 Husqvarna that I will be porting. And I like using the base gasket whenever I can. I don't like using the freaking this stuff. I don't like working with that. If I can use a gasket for the base, I like to. Oh, so that you guys know, all right, your cylinder gasket is your base gasket, all right? That's the base of the cylinder. Now, the reason it's called a base gasket is because there is a world outside of chainsaws. And you have your cylinder, and you have two gaskets on the cylinder. You have the head gasket, and you have the base gasket. I am so sick and tired of going to the chainsaw stores, part stores, and everything, and they don't know what I'm talking about whenever I say base gasket and crank seals. But you know, these guys, they're behind the counter and they're typing in parts. They don't know. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody. A lot of those guys probably do know something. But for the most part, they're no different than the checkout girl at Kroger that is, you know, the cashier. So they don't know. Base gasket. base gasket is your cylinder gasket. With chainsaws, you don't have a head gasket because it's all one assembly. Anyways, just a little bit of knowledge. It's crazy. It's just like going to the parts store, auto parts store. They don't know what anything is. Nothing. And I don't want to be the a-hole that condemns them, because guess what? At one time, I didn't know either. In my particular case, I was 12. But I did. But this stuff has always been my hobby, and I've really liked this. I've been into the motorcycle, the hot rod cars. I've been into that world forever, and so something that is just such basic knowledge to me. Well, to other people, they're just like, "How do you know so much?" It's weird. So I got a lot of friends who are, they live in the city and they've never known anything but that. And they'll be, they're smart, they're talented. But they have no general knowledge of anything outside of their bubble of knowledge. I got a buddy, he likes to ride a bicycle for, 30-mile trips and things like that, he's 50 years old-ish. And he started finally maintaining his own bicycle. And he's asking me little questions like, how do I put this chain on? And I'm like, oh my God, Andy. I was doing that when I was 6, But he grew up in Manhattan, makes a hell of a lot of money. Who am I to say he's stupid? That is completely false. We all have our own set of knowledge, and it is wrong to think that someone else is stupid simply because you have knowledge in a different area than they do. So, ignorance is not stupidity. How did I get on that ramble? I don't know. See ya.